fuck up.
What is up, everybody? I'm Alex with Swamp Rat Fishing. My co-hostess with the mostest, Paul Roberts, is here. Already a giggle fest. This is Bass and Brews. Paul, how are you?
Oh man, I just had a thought of what you were telling me before we went live about what you had to Google before we came live with our guest today, and it's wonderful. And it made me think back to how educated you are with the biology of largemouth bass.
Listen, I got that question right. I don't know why we're starting off. I don't know why you woke up this morning just wanting hate in your heart, but I got that question right. Before we get started, as always, we're supported and we support Hookset Hoodlums. Head over to hooksethoodlums.com. Oh, he's doing it again. Oh, folks, you gotta see it on YouTube. He looks like he's having a full-on spasm. But head on over there. We'll have discount codes below for me and Paul. But make sure to check them out. They still have that summer line, and they still have some of these underwater robberies hats in stock. So make sure
I can't wait till the pond wrecker comes back in and that olive color.
Dude, I want the pond wrecker and olive. I don't have that one yet. But,
yes.
Paul, how's your week been, man?
Man, it wasn't bad. I didn't fish none since the last time we recorded. I did play golf Saturday.
That sucks for you.
Yeah, so I hadn't fished, but shit. So it's been what it's been. It ain't been a bad week. We crushed some dumpsters and made some money and did some shit like that. And I will say, I think I am going to record and post my next fishing trip because I'm going to take my 3-4 pound line test ultralight ugly sticks out, and I'm going big fish hunting with my ultralight. I'm going to be throwing big baits on my ultralight to catch the same fish I would catch with my regular shit to see what happens.
I like it. Yeah, I didn't fish at all this week. It's been crazy here at the Swamp Rat household. Before we go any further, though, I got some awesome in-laws. Look what they just sent me. Let's see. I think I got to flip it that way for the camera. Nope, because I'm a fucking idiot. They got me like this die-cut sign that says Swamp Rat. It's pretty dope.
That shit is awesome, dude.
Right?
Hey, you took the blanket down.
Yes. I took the blanket down.
Thank God. But you
because
painted the wall.
We are a very professional podcast, and I had to rework the studio a little bit. And by that, I mean, I took the $5 stupid fucking blanket off the wall. So,
yeah. See, you should have a background like mine. A fucking shiner box, foot mirror, a refrigerator, just some
random shit. Sure. All right. So are we ready to crack beers? Oh, wait. We're going to do beers different tonight.
Yeah. A little bit.
So our guest, everybody, we've got Josh from the Dark Waters Fishing Podcast. I'm pretty sure all of our viewers listen to him as well. But I'm stoked to have him on. He's coming off a really big win too. So let's get him in here. And if you guys don't know, this dude shotguns beers on a constant basis. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Josh, what's up, buddy?
I'm a little worried about this whole shot. I feel like I'm ruining people's lives, possibly ruining my life. I don't know. Like, is it good to be known as the guy that shotguns beers all the time? I mean,
listen, it's better to be known than not at all, right? Isn't that what they say?
I guess. Yeah.
No, my mantra is it ain't about being known; it's about being unforgettable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess a guy approaching 40 shotgunning beers like he's at spring break in Panama City is yeah.
I'm with you, man. I was telling Paul
almost 42. I'm getting my prostate examined in December or 1st of January, apparently.
And so when we start talking about shit like that, why not shotgun beers? If all I got to look forward to is some weird guy tickling my ass to tell me if I'm going to be sick or not, I mean,
exactly. And so today I'm not only shotgunning a beer. I kind of fucked up, but in a good way. Only thing I got's a 16 ouncer. of 6% alcohol, and it's the Sweetwater 420 strain. And I got it for a couple of reasons. One, looks like some kind of Sharon Harris fucking bony nuclear fish on it, but also because I want to celebrate Dark Waters, Josh's win from this weekend with some 420 beer. And y'all will hear the story later why.
And then I'm doing the classic Bush because I haven't shotgunned a beer since I was fucking 15 and I'm 37.
Dude, like, I shotgun easy beers. Like I might be a pro, but I don't go outside like light beer or just Budweiser, things like that. I don't like. Right. I've had some guys like send me videos and like shotgunning like Guinnesses, and I'm like, you're not supposed to do that, homie. Like, that's a bad move.
But look, Alex, tell them what the hell you had to do before we started the podcast, though.
I had to fucking like Google how to shotgun a beer because it's literally
where are you
I was
from,
15.
Dude?
I'm from Washington State, but literally,
I mean, like, whatever. Like,
oh no, we lost him. There he is.
I don't think it's mine. I lost you guys for a second too, but I'm from Panama City, Florida. So when I was in high school, we'd skip school to go hang out with the spring breakers, and we would drink beers and give girls beads for certain favors.
Right.
But that's how I grew up. I grew up shotgunning beers and partying like that. Girls Gone Wild. That was like Panama City back in the day, believe it or not. So.
Josh, we didn't have that. We had girls commit suicide because it rains every day and they're usually on heroin.
Yeah, it's such a dark, gloomy state, dude. I get it, man. I get it.
Look, he lives in Jersey now, though.
Oh, that's still it's dark and.
Josh is like, yeah, that still sucks.
This still sucks.
All right, we ready to do this? Paul, you ready, man?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, am I supposed to do it with you guys?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hold on. You got to wait. Look,
I'm judging right now.
I did 16 ounces and he still can't. What is he doing, Josh?
He's about to throw up. He did that wrong.
Dude, there's literally beer like all over the computer.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that was fun.
Dude, you just Googled how to shotgun a beer.
I thought I did it right. I did not. I did not do it right.
No, it's not supposed to take that long.
Well, it's these. I don't have the thunder lips that Paul and I guess you have.
Yeah,
got these thin little babies. All right.
Well, I'm sorry about that. There's like a little pause. It happens like every so often, and I missed the part that we're not supposed to do that. So,
Alex, you jumped the gun, and our guest didn't even get to shotgun his beer.
Listen, I was excited.
You should be proud. You should be proud. Like, I mean, I've seen worse first times.
Like, I cracked another one to go with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it takes time to learn how to do it. It's a skill. It's an art.
Listen, I'm going to give up fishing, and I'm just going to devote all winter to shotgunning beers.
Make sure you send them to Josh so he can post them on the internet.
Exactly. All right. Again, if you guys don't know him, he runs the Dark Waters podcast. Phenomenal podcast, man. I've been listening to you for almost 2 years.
Yeah, that's about how long I've been doing it. About almost 2 years.
Yeah, so it's I really love your show over there. You're kind of one of the inspirations on why I decided to do this show. I like your realistic take, your no bullshit podcast that you got going on.
Yeah, I mean that's what podcast was for, man. It's broadcast yourself. Why? I mean, I don't know. Like, I enjoy being myself. I have a great time being Josh Smith. It's it's not boring. Why I would like broadcast myself as something else doesn't make any sense. So,
right.
And people, it's funny. Like people like it, man. They like it. They like curse words. Believe it or not, like people love curse words. People like the, they want to be entertained. And like one of the things I had, like, and I'm not talking shit about it because you got to have a little bit of everything. But like that's kind of where all the fishing shows are. They're all the same. They all start, from the time you watch them when you're a kid, and then you become an adult, and podcasting and other things are here now. It's always the same. It's always just like good old boys. Grew up with grandpa. And don't get me wrong, they love God. They go to church, and they're just like that personality that really, and it just those are how the shows are. It's all about education. It's all about, taking care of the outdoors. That's all stuff I believe in and stuff like that. But it's not what I'm entertained by. Like I don't like it. Doesn't You know, like, I mean, I grew up watching like Jackass and, you know, things like that. You know, like my heroes were idiots, you know, so, you know, it only makes sense for me to do it like this. But that's all it really was. This is like, there's a lot of podcasts out there. I'm like, man, they're great, but they're just redundant. They put out great information, but they're boring. And I was like, let's just throw a few F words in there. Let's spice
it up.
Let's grow a shitty beard. You know, wear a square, a straight bill hat or whatever, and drink some beers and stuff like that, and see what happens. And everybody likes that shit anyways, whether they admit it or not. Like deep down their core, you know, like when you go to watch the movies, you go watch the ones that are entertaining. You don't watch like, you know, the shitty ones, the boring ones. You want to be entertained, and a podcast I think should be like. I don't think it should be like that. That's just what I want to do. I don't think anything should be anything. You just do whatever you feel right. But I just know that for me, I like dark comedy. I like funny shit. So I tried my best to, and I've always been somewhat not a comedian, but you know, I grew up in the military. And I don't know if anyone who's been in the military, wore the uniform, knows that our humor is dark and hilarious. I mean, like the fact they haven't ever really made a reality show on the barracks life, not the war.
Fuck
the war.
They can't.
Let's just go to the barracks.
You know how many people would be like instantly court-martialed? Like we talk about that. I'm in the military.
I know.
And we talk about it all the time of like, if anybody actually heard, like what we talk about, like I work in search and rescue right now. The awful things that we sometimes say about the people that we have to rescue is on a constant basis. And we think it's funny and humorous, but we would all be instantly.
Yeah. But I mean, like go out, a squad of Marines going out on Saturday night, to like a college town, people are getting beat up. Women are going home with the wrong person. That's what's being made. You know what I mean? This horrible thing is happening. That should be a reality TV show. That was kind of like the world I grew up with. And like, it was weird when I got out, I stayed in for a long time. I got out a sergeant first class in E7, and everyone, and like the stereotype was I was supposed to be like really like super professional. I was pretty much a senior non-commissioned officer coming out to the civilian world. But I did it was totally opposite when I got out, man. I just went like balls deep, like I grew a beard. I started, just having a good time. I started, smoking the herb. Like I did everything you weren't, and I just like, dude, like, why am I going to sit here and like not enjoy this second part of my life? Because, for the longest time I had to be like squared away and I had to be like, well shaved and present myself in a, professional manner. I don't got to do that shit no more. So I get on the camera, I got the microphone, and I do whatever I want. And it's like the coolest freedom. That's like one of the coolest hobbies ever. Is like just for, the entertaining people, just being yourself. I think, I find a lot of, there's a lot of fun in that. So, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. And how I got into kayak fishing is way weirder than how I got into podcasting. I mean, the fact that I'm looking at it now, like the fact that I'm running a kayak fishing podcast. I'm like, well, how the hell did that happen?
Like one of not only but I would consider one of the, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just weird. It's weird doing this because I didn't grow up doing shit like this, and so I could have done a million things. And somehow I end up in this genre of podcasting, and it just shows you how cool podcasting is because you can like take shit isn't that. You can do whatever you want. You can take shit that doesn't go together. Like what the hell does that predator mask have to do with fishing or whatever? You know what I mean? It's just like you just mash things up and just make things whatever you want to be, and it's either successful or it's not. But it's always going to be a good time if you enjoy doing it. So I mean, it's been a fun ride. It's been a weird 2 years. But I haven't changed a lot. Like I was watching like some of your shit, like the videos and stuff you're doing. I'm like, that's great, but I'm not doing it. It looks professional, but I'm not doing it. Like,
dude. Yep.
Yeah, I know it's great, but I just feel like that's not my thing. I'm not gonna sit there and pretend I'm I'm not a brain surgeon. So I'm not gonna work on some dude's skull. You know what I mean? I'm not a computer dude. So I'm not gonna sit there and make a badass intro like you guys have. So
I think it's I think it's awesome though because there is this whole especially with kayak fishing, because a lot of it's like that. It has that homegrown elements to it, but there's enough space. There's enough creator space for everybody to kind of do what they want to do. There's a lot of room for growth other than catching normally green fish that we like. There's a whole lot of different avenues to go through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at the genre, or the whatever you want to call it, it reminds me of like skateboarding or surfing or anything like that. I mean, that's all it really is. It's just a cool hobby that creates like a certain culture or whatever. And especially in the kayak world, you see a lot of that, like just like the culture like you can I can tell who a kayak angler is by like what they wear, and things like that. So it's just one of those things, man. It's a really cool, interesting world, but it is a culture, and there's a lot of ways you can go about it. And there's a lot of ways you can like make it. Like you don't have to be really good at this shit. Like I'm not a great angler, but I can podcast, and if I mix those two together, I got a little project going on. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just a lot of opportunity out here. I think and when I say opportunity, I don't mean like opportunity to really make money, but like when I think about opportunity, I think about an opportunity to have a good time. You know what I mean? Like I got a job. I'm the VA takes care of me, like shit like that. So I'm not really like hurting for anything else. It's not like, and maybe that's a bad thing because I'd probably be a lot more like ambitious, but I'm not. I'm very like not ambitious about things that much anymore. So I don't really pursue it. But when I think of like an opportunity, like just have a good time, and dude, I've had some of the best conversations. I travel around. People know who I am, and I'm over at some weird campground, taking Jaeger bombs to some weirdo I don't know. Like who does Jaeger bombs? I'm not gonna say no to one, but that's one of the cool things about being a podcast. People know you, and I have a good time everywhere I go.
Yeah, you're just out with a friend of the podcast and other Hookset Hoodlum member Nate Shagnon, right?
Oh yeah, that's my homie, dude. We've stayed together twice. Dude, he's a cool guy, man. I enjoy him a lot. He's probably one of my best. Like, he's probably one of the best people that when you stay with someone, like I'll share a room with that guy.
He is a class act shit talker. Nate is amazing at it.
Oh yeah, he's witty.
So Josh, I long story, but I had a hiatus of fishing and got into kayak fishing late 2020, and so when I got into it. I started looking for podcasts, and I found yours the same way. Just found it. It was one of the first ones that popped up. And so I listened to the most couple recent episodes. I don't remember exactly when it was. It would have been late 2020, early 2021. And so when I got caught up I've listened to all the episodes. And so I started interacting with you on I think Instagram. But I called you the Oprah Kayak Fishing podcast. and I mean that shit in a good ass way though, because when you talk to people, like the thing with Oprah is she gets people that it's not scripted, right? And they are there and they are who they are when she's talking to them. And so you have that gift to have people to sit back and relax and to have a conversation and to talk about whatever the fuck comes up.
Yeah.
And so that's what's so cool. And that's why I meant by calling you the Oprah of that is you have a way to bring the person out because you're talking to some of the, the upper echelon of kayak anglers in there. Yeah. And so you have a way that somebody that just got into kayak angling or somebody that's thinking about it, or somebody just likes fishing and has listened to a kayak podcast because they like fishing. I mean, your podcasts have that balance, that natural balance of learning, of fun, of entertainment, and you really get to see a lot of the personality of the folks that you have on because of how you run it. And so that's what's great. And that's what's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's just cool how you do that. You can't teach that. People don't just learn to do that. It's something you have, and you're great at that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming. Like when I started a podcast prior to this, like a dad podcast, Chronicles of a Badass Dad, and it was a good podcast. I just didn't brand it right. I didn't like there's things like when you start a podcast and you put a name on it, and then like 5 episodes, you're completely off what that title. You know what I mean? You gotta be the name of the podcast has got to be. You gotta be very careful with that because that's going to limit. Like, I mean, it didn't have to, but when someone finds this because they're looking for a dad podcast and they find it, all it is like me and some legless veteran, getting drunk and talking about talking shit. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with him being a dad. We forgot about that part. It's like maybe I should have called this. And I would find that happening a lot. But to get back to what you were saying, but that was, it started there. And it got here, and like now that I'm doing it so much, like I see what you're talking about. I picked up on it, but it's like. I feel like a lot of times I sell myself short by staying like here, like doing the podcast about fishing. Cause I'm like, well, what can I do now? I've been doing podcast fishing or kayak fishing for the podcast for like almost 2 years now. It's like, man, well, there's so many things else I could be doing right now, with the way I like to run a podcast. And I'm like, and not that I think about money all the time, but I do think about like how far I could take a podcast. And I feel like sometimes when you put yourself in a smaller genre like kayak fishing, there's only so much you can do with that. I mean, you can make it fun, have a great time with it and do it forever. But, after a while, you're like, well, what else could I do with this? How else could I change this podcast? Get a bigger reach, a bigger audience, talk about more stuff. Because sometimes I don't want to talk about fishing. Sometimes I want to talk about politics or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's a great thing that I've learned. And it's definitely a great learning experience. I think I have picked up my style of doing it. But by being aware of that now, I'm like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I want to try something else and really push and see what I can do. Because honestly, I think podcasting is a skill to be able to bring up, to have a conversation with someone and to get them to open up and to get them comfortable, and then they're coming up with some good questions and not the same question that someone else has asked them a million goddamn times, and do something with that. You know what I mean? It takes a skill, and it's something that I get better and better as I keep doing this. And so who knows what will be next for me as far as like podcasting. I might start another podcast. I don't know. It's definitely something that I've gotten better at, and I enjoy like the whole part of that, of setting that up, finding someone I'm gonna have a conversation with. Like, how can I make this conversation fun and entertaining? Because that's why people, when they're driving home after a shitty day at the work, they want to be entertained in some way. And just to have someone talk about a drop shot for an hour, it's just like, I don't mind doing that, but find a way to make that shit entertaining. You know what I mean? Like hook them in the beginning, then put in some boring shit. They come back and kick them in the nuts with some, something funny. I don't know, but something like, but it takes time. But that's what I like. That's why I like this the whole podcasting thing, because it's broadcast yourself. You can't put your own little style. There's no rules. There's no producer writing things down for you, telling you how you should do things. Like your success and your failure is all on you, and like how many people listen to you. It depends on how much you want to entertain them and like what you're willing to do to grab that attention. And so I don't know. It's definitely something that I've enjoyed, but I want to do something else with it in the future though. I just don't know yet.
Well, look at here, Hoss. That's why I called you the Oprah of it, because exactly what you just said. You get people comfortable. They're open to talk, and you self-deprecate by talking about this shitty old podcast. I get the winners of these national tournaments after they've been on all the other ones. And that's good. And still you're not, that their conversations that you have with those folks is fishing and tournament related, but that conversation veers off into life, right? Mm-hmm. It veers off into what you did before and after, and it has that fishing concept in it, but it also has that life aspect of it.
Right.
And so, you have the gift of gab, as we call it down here in the Carolinas. You have the gift of gab, and the part of the gift of gab is how you talk to folks, because it's the question side of it. You're not asking the same, well, what did you do with this and that? And look, I listen to all those podcasts, and they're great, and I love it. And I will listen to Mark Pendergraft on 85,000 podcasts saying the same thing. And but it still comes down to what you've created is the easiest way for me to articulate it is real.
Right.
Like, it's real. And it's just that it's interesting how you've done that. And you talk about also hook them in the beginning. Dude, I love your music. What's the intro music? What is the history? Did you just pluck that shit off?
Once again, like, listen to podcasts.
You were in a band too. So like, did you
when I hear podcasts, especially YouTube videos, they have a similar intro all the time. I don't know if it's just like because I don't know all about this. I don't know if it's just like there's only so many musics you can put on for like copyright or reasons and shit like that. I don't know, but I'm talking about like from like Mike Iaconelli to the Bass Squash Hunt, like all these guys. I hear their intros, and they're all so like goddamn similar. And it's either like this crazy rock sound or this kind of slow like hip hop type sound, but they're all very similar. And I'm like, I gotta find something stupid and ridiculous that's not, that's like I want, when someone hears it, I want to be like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And then when you hear that intro, that's what it is. It's like this, like the dark waters. Like you're thinking it's gonna be an intro just should have like death metal or some shit like that. But it's like this weird twangy shit. Because when the guy was asking, what do you want it to sound like when he was making it for me? I'm like, see, like electronic banjos or some dumb shit. I don't know.
Nailed it with that. That's exactly how I think of it. As techno banjo.
So pretty much with the whole podcast, I was trying to get away from all the other stuff. Like I really wanted to be like as original as I could. That's why I don't. It's not really like some of it might be laziness, but the other part is like everyone's got these badass intros, and like I was sitting there thinking, it's like how important is that badass intro? You know what I mean? Like and not only that, then the commercials come in. I'm like, that shit gets annoying after a while. You know what I mean? It gets so annoying, and it's like
I'm on my watch.
So if it annoys me, that's what I think that's what I really like. If it annoys me, and if I don't care about it, there's got to be other people who are annoyed and they don't care about it either. So I try to like think about that, like cut all the annoying bullshit that I don't like and don't add it to your podcast. You know what I mean? And so like my intro, beside that dumbass song, I get up there, I'll crack a beer, I'll talk about some dumb shit. I'll make fun of myself or bring up some like important events or something like that.
You ramble. Let's be honest. You ramble.
I just ramble. I ramble. I go on these little weird rants, and then I'll thank my sponsors for like a minute, and then jump right into it. And that's it. I don't have any crazy outro. I don't have any. And maybe that hurts me. I don't know. I've never been there to think like, oh man, that intro was so badass. Oh, that intro song was so badass. That's why I listened to this podcast, was because of that right there. I never had that moment before. I listened to the Joe Rogan pod. I'm a huge fan. I delete through everything until he starts talking. Skip right through it. So they're gonna be doing that in my shit too. And so if you are trying to get sponsors and stuff recognized, I think a rant would be better. Like get them caught with that rant. Like get them like listening to me say some stupid shit or some important shit, and then let me think these guys real quick. And blah, blah, blah. And then I try to make that as different, as fun as possible, too, and then run right into it. And it's a simple method. There's not a lot of technology involved. And I don't know. That's just the way when I listen to stuff and I watch stuff, I always watch it. It's always the same, especially fishing YouTube videos. They'll have like this real drum roll, and they'll show a boat that's not theirs and anglers that aren't them, fishing, catching shit, pulling out of the water. And like, and then, then their sponsor video will come on. That's cool. And then it's just like, I really didn't need to see that shit. Did nothing for me. I'm not buying anything now, or something like that. So, I mean, it's just like, don't do that. That's why I like broadcast yourself. If you don't like shit, don't do that shit. And like, I think about running my show, like how do I like it? What entertains me, what's needed, what's not needed. And a lot of that shit that people do these days, I just feel it's unnecessary. It makes you look professional, but people don't like me because I'm a professional. People like me because I'm almost a middle-aged alcoholic who likes to fish and talk shit. So, I mean,
who can't add up his links at a tournament.
Yeah. So that's my style. Make it simple, and then if I ever get famous, maybe I'll hire a producer or something, or some of those guys that's really good at that shit, and he'll take care of me. For right now, though, it's gonna be the ridiculous banjos, no cool intros or anything like that. It's just
the music to me is catchy. It makes your head bob. So I drive a lot. So when I listen to podcasts, like I would love to be part of these live events, like your KBN event. I wanted to, but and I ended up listening to it today before it came out on the pod. But I drive, so I like to listen to the podcast because I'm on the road. And when your song comes on, it's catchy. It's not long. It's quick. But then you get into your little thing, and it's not a pre-recorded thing that I hear for the last, because you've done like 8,502 episodes in 2 years. Yeah. It's fucking amazing. But it's not the same thing. There's a lead into that. You're leading in. There's a lead in. It's different, and it's worth listening to because it's not the same shit. I'm not on my watch over here driving down the road hitting the 30-second.
A lot of those songs that those people have, like they're very like. Those kind of songs that kind of like build you up, you know what I mean? Like if you're getting ready to go do like a sporting event, I'd play some of those goddamn songs. It's like that. It starts off slow and it comes in. You're like, it has like that emotional catch, and you're just like, I'm ready to go fucking win. And then all of a sudden, then it's a boring podcast. You know what I mean? It's like you go through that emotional ride, you get amped up, and it's someone whose voice never changed tones. It's very mono, and it's just like. Well, now I'm not fired up anymore. So with me, that I come in.
It's fucking hype up music. To in-depth drop shot techniques.
Yeah, it's like hype music to an algebra class. You know what I mean? Like you go through this so you can go learn like I don't know shapes and stuff. But I don't know. to me, it's like I want my. It needs to be ridiculous. It needs to be. I need to come in. I need to sound somewhat like even if I'm not. I need to sound a little lit. Like I had a few beers.
Like,
and then I need to say a few things. I need to try, like say something funny, put some news out, and then get into the podcast. And then that's it. I mean, it's a pretty simple formula. I mean, like my show is not like people said they'll talk about it and like people don't really understood like how easy this was, because I have people like try to, how do you do this? Like, man, you're so good at it, blah blah. I'm like, dude, it's the easiest thing I've ever done. Like, I just hit record, I say some shit, and then it's even easier. I'm just myself. I talk the way I talk. I do the way I do things, and whatever you morons love it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. So it's it's just so simple. I mean, like anyone can do a podcast. I wish people would, if you want to do a podcast, just do a podcast. So, and everyone's like, well, when should I start? Now. What should I do? Hit record. Simple shit. Like, quit asking me all these. Quit looking for all these complicated answers to all these simple questions. It's like just buy a microphone, plug it in your computer, hit record. Well, what about editing? Don't edit. Don't edit.
Right, yeah. This one isn't edited. But we've learned that Josh hates ads. But we do have to take a break for ads. No, I'm just joking. We don't have fucking ads.
I was like, dude.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
I'm talking shit, but I'm like,
gosh, I was about to be like, this motherfucker that got an ad didn't tell me.
I was like, you're not paying your boy.
Hey, well, what's funny is I remember, I don't remember when or what episodes, but I remember listening to episodes. You're like, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this shit. Like, it's fun. Like, I'm having, like, if I can come talk to these guys who are fishing and learning, and I have a chance to ask them questions and learn, I'm gonna keep doing it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this.
Like, during the winter,
week, there's like 6 episodes that came out.
Yeah, during the winter.
This is the greatest shit ever.
During the winter, you just were like, hey, this is probably going to be the last one before I take a break. And then I'd be like, oh, fuck, because I normally listen to you on my way to work. I got like an hour commute. It's at like 4 a.m. It's why I do really like your podcast because, like you said, it's energetic. It's to the point. I love BTL, but it's slow and very commercialized kind of when it goes through, right? You have none of that. It's 4 a.m. I'm awake. I'm not going to be drifting if I've got you on. And then I was like, fuck, man, he's going to be gone for the winter. I was sitting there and I'm like, I got a notification on my phone. I'm like, I thought he was done. How did I miss 4 episodes in 3 days?
Yeah, it's I want to take a break, but I had people just keep asking, like, dude, like, don't do this. I'm like, God damn it. But I am taking a break this year. I swear to God, it might be a month, but I'll tell you what, when I start hunting, I'm done until hunt season's over, and then I'll come back. But I don't know. People just like, I was having such a good time last year, but dude, like this year it got busy. Because last year, I think though, COVID gave me a lot of time to do episodes. And now I do like traveling, fishing these tournaments, and I'm not a professional angler, so when I get home, and everyone thinks, like, yeah, fishing tournaments are fun, but that's a lot of work. You get there on a Thursday, fish all day. Friday, fish all day. Saturday, fish all day, and then you're getting like you're going to bed at 10. You're waking up at like 3:30. Like this past weekend was hot as fuck. So like there was that. So like the whole time I'm trying to just rehydrate. So you're not drinking water for today. You're drinking water for tomorrow. And so I'm trying to rehydrate. I'm exhausted.
Beers,
I'm drinking beer and eating edibles and stuff like that as well. So it's just like I'm not taking good care of myself either. So I get home and then I don't get time off. I come back. I work the next day. I take care of my son. And that's my routine. And so like now I'm just kind of like, when the season's over, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna take like a few weeks off and maybe change some things up. Maybe hire someone to give me a cool intro like you guys or what or something like that. I don't know. But
like this shit off the internet.
Yeah. But no, I'm gonna need a break. I mean, I think, and if you look this year, I think I came into the season with like 130 episodes, and like right now. We're almost at the end of the season, and I'm only up to like 190. So I've slowed down a lot too. I'm only doing like one a week compared to.
Look, I wasn't here for the beginning, but his first season was like 3 episodes.
Listen, just like the BBC, right? You do small seasons, and it makes you seem established.
His first season was 3 episodes, and you're talking about I did 69 in a year that I fished major and regional and local trails. you ran a Slay Nation trail up there, and you still pumped out like 60 episodes.
Yeah.
Year ain't over.
No, I know. But it's just, it's a slower. But I think you got, like, in the beginning, you got to pump out. Because you don't have anything like that one episode that you have. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I pump out, 20 as fast as possible, now people can go back and listen, and then you get them hooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I like this guy. And then they start looking for more and more and things like that. So that's why I was really busy last year. I was trying to, that was something that I learned. Like, if you want to get people, like, it's just like a drug dealer. You got to give people drugs, get them hooked, and then bring them in. You know what I mean? That's how podcasting and entertainment is. It's like, if you only have like 1 or 2 episodes and it's going to be a month before you put another one out, they're going to forget about you. They're going to forget about you.
I wish when we started, I would have done a blitz in the beginning. I wish I would have saved up the content and kind of released it almost like every other day to build that back catalog. Because even if it's podcasting or YouTube, that back catalog is super important. Because when somebody, exactly what you're saying, they want more of whatever you're selling. As Sean the Fisherman said, they want more of your special blend of bullshit.
Yeah.
When they go and look and there's nothing there, almost as a viewer or listener, you're like, well, shit, are they still going to be around? Is this, I mean, one side of it, you want them with you as you grow on whatever journey you're on, if you want to say, right? But the other end too, there's been a lot of good fishing podcasts specifically that have been really good. And then all of a sudden they're just done and you never hear from them again. Yeah.
Well, it's hard. It took the beginning when I first started, like I was only averaging like 45, 50 listens per episode. But I kept hammering and I kept putting out, I did not follow it at all. I just kept putting out episodes, annoyingly putting out episodes. I mean, there were some weekend, like, especially when KBBT first started, dude, there was winners every weekend. So I'd be talking like maybe 6 episodes a week sometimes, you know what I mean? But it was all planned. It was all like to get my name out there, to get people to listen, to subscribe. And then once I got to like 100 or 110 or whatever, it's like, okay, now I can slow down a little bit because now I have a fan base, and now the new people who are they're listening to me the first time, they have a catalog of stuff they can go listen to find out what I'm all about. So I think in the beginning you gotta like hustle really hard and build that thing up, and then like I said, I'm not saying that I can now take a break, but it's like now I don't have to put out because I'm not I have my consistent listeners. And the new ones have plenty of shit they can go and figure out if there's something they're going to be into. So that first 6 months, you got to be, I was busy. And like people were like, there was like some other, like, I can't remember the, whatever. It was like something Kayak Tactics or something like that. I can't remember. They used to be one of the premier guys.
Yeah, Kayak Tactics. They're guys out of NorCal.
They hardly ever put stuff out. And,
that dude that dude had a kid. Yeah. One of the co-hosts had a kid because a buddy I served with, he was on one of the episodes. But I remember they had a kid, and all of a sudden it just like
just stopped. But they just never. And then I'm not talking shit about them because whatever. Like, if it's not important to you, it's not important to you. To me, it was important to me at the time because I really wanted to be successful at it. And so, but they got reached out to me. It's like, like we've been doing this for so long, and we only have like 40 episodes. You're already at 100. I'm like, I know, but I'm getting like 600 listens per episode now. That's pretty goddamn good for a small genre like this. And so it's like it paid off. Yeah. And now I don't have to do that kind of work anymore. I can take a week off, or I can only do 1 episode a week and be okay with that because it's just better now. There's a lot. I got enough content out there to last people a good bit. And I just don't feel obligated to do that. And now I can plan things better. I can schedule things better. And things like that. And it's not so redundant. You know what I mean? I had a hard time with that. Like it's like, dude, you got to change it up a little bit. You got to figure out. You can't just talk about the same shit over and over again. You got to. And now I have that kind of time, and that I have space. So if I do want to go back and hit, like I talked about chatterbaits one time with a guy. It's been like 6 months since we've done that. So now I can bring it back again. You know what I mean? Because I'm not doing them as consistent. So now people can forget about chatterbaits and I'll bring it up later on or whatever, or something like that. So, like I said, work hard at the beginning, and then you can, once you get your following, then you can start kind of slowing down and really nitpicking and making your podcast, better or be more efficient with how you plan your episodes. I think that's been like the best one, is like being a lot more efficient and a lot more choosy with my guests. That was the biggest thing I had like the first time. There's some people on my show that they're great people, but they don't have the ability to talk on a podcast. Like the moment you say go, they're just like, it's like, God damn, dude, you just won a championship or whatever.
Yeah, damn, I gotta, your favorite saying is, God damn, how do I make this last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So what's funny is one is that, you've built a following and have created connections through networking, and who you are and what your podcast is that you can come up on a Wednesday at 7 p.m. and go, hey, my guest can't make it. I need somebody. And you get somebody like me, because I always be like, I'm raising my damn hand. I'm like, hey, I'm here. And then I'm like, I know he ain't going to choose me because he don't know if I'm going to be this guy he's going to waste 30 minutes on and can't publish a shit. Yeah. But then you in the kayak world, you end up, the episode drops 2 days later, and it is somebody that is, and you've created a network when you put that shit out there. You're not just getting some random ass bearded country motherfucker from South Carolina, North Carolina. Like you're getting somebody who's done some shit in the fishing world on your podcast, and to be able to put that shit out there and get it right then and there. I mean, that's impressive. And that's the network that you built. And that also shows for what your podcast is, with the foul ass language and the beer drinking and the self-deprecation and this and that shit, motherfuckers will still come on that shit and talk fishing. Yeah. And that says a lot about what they think of you.
Well, the beginning too, and I'm still like that. Like I didn't talk to a lot of like the I had them on the show, but like I interact a lot with the people who listen to my show a lot. I'm always busting balls, but like it's very important to me that like I was reaching out to those guys. I guess you would say the people who are like the unheard of, you know what I mean? Like the people who are just like me, and like you're trying to create a culture there. Like, cause that's the best. That's right. Because like there's so many people that go to these tournaments, and they're just like me. And it's like if I can get those guys to like me, if I can fit in with that crowd, then this podcast thing it's gonna be a lot more fun. Yep. It's gonna be a lot more fun because it takes a while like to get someone like Drew Gregory to call you and ask you to come on their show. It took me a long time to get to a point where like people were actually calling me to come on my show. But once I had like 100, 200, 300 new friends, you know what I mean? Like, these are all their followers as well. Like all your followers, like when all that was like my goal in the beginning. Like I want to make all your followers my friends. You know what I mean? And like and that's how it's gonna. And that's how I'll build my podcast. Like I'm gonna get everyone who's not going on podcasts, and we're gonna become bros. I'm gonna bring them on podcast, and we're gonna have great times. And then next thing you know, a lot of people want to come on podcast now, and I think it comes from that. It's like, dude, like be a good guy, be a good friend, and treat this thing like a bro shit, and things will happen because I might not have had Drew Gregory and some of the other guys at first, but when like I got like 600 friends now, and all these guys are diehard kayakers, and these are the ones that they want the attention of. It's like, why wouldn't you come on my show at that point? I mean, that's where you want to talk about your sponsors and things like that. It's like, something like with a show like that. So I started off very like just talking to anyone. I still do that. Like, I mean, I'll reach out to someone like, dude, I haven't done anything. I'm like, I know, that's why I want you on the show. It's like that's. Yeah, dude, you'll be on. Like it's. Like, I've had some of like. I mean,
Paul joined this podcast just to get on your podcast.
What's funny? Like Catherine Fields. Like I had her on my show.
Yeah, twice now.
No, like 3 times now. But when I first had her on my show, it was before she became a really competitive angler. Like when I had her on my show, it was right before she did her first Hobie event.
Okay.
And so no one really knew who she was, but I became friends with her. And she was like I mean, I'm not gonna call her investment because she's my homie, but it's like I took a chance. I brought her on my show because I thought I saw something special in her because she was doing this other thing like fishing every day for 200 something days or something like that. And so I took a chance on that one, and then now she's like right now in the Hobie standings, she's the top female. And so when I first started talking to her. She's never fished a big tournament. That was gonna be her first national tournament. She sucked that year. She got a little better the next year, and this year she cashed her first check, and she's in the top 10 for Angler of the Year. And it's like, see, if you give people a chance, it might help you out later on. You know what I mean? Because now it's like I'm good friends with her. Like we love the shit out of each other. Like we see each other, we give hugs.
Mm-hmm.
And she's one of my best friends, that came out of this. And that was one of the things I was like, dude, if you invest in people, there's always gonna be something that good come out of it. You know what I mean? Especially something like this. Like now I have her who knows how good she's gonna do later down the road, but she's my friend now. And the same thing with some of the other people, like Jake Harshman. I talked to him right before he won Seminole Lake like 2 years ago. Me and him are great friends now. But it's just I took a chance by talking to these people who haven't really done anything yet. So I invested in them and ended up helping me out tremendously later on. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, oh, I know that person. And then they're like, oh, he's on the Dark Wars. Let's see what he has to say. Next thing you know, I got 5 more listeners just out of that one conversation. So I mean, I started off just investing in people at first, and now there's not really many people I can't have on the show. Now I'm working on big boat guys. Now I'm working on getting some of those really big names. Those guys are a little harder because I'm sure they would come on, but you got to talk to like their.
Look, they got sponsors that they can't be over there.
Oh no! Like, you got to talk to someone. They have someone you got to talk to.
Like their agent.
Their agent. Like I emailed one. It's like, oh yeah, I'll give them a message. I'm like, well, the goddamn email says their name. Right? And now I'm worried.
You know Bailey and them. Why get the hookup?
Oh, me and Bailey are bros, but there's some competition between me and him. Like I don't compete with any other podcast, probably but his.
And he's I don't know the New York geographic area, but he's up in y'all all New Yorkers, right?
Yeah, we're I think he just moved, but before he moved, we're probably about 2 hours away from each other.
He just moved wherever Andrew is.
Yeah, like Buffalo. He's closer to Buffalo, so he's probably about 3.5 hours away from me right now.
Okay.
But,
yeah. So what was you said that in the beginning you were pumping out all that content, right? Mm-hmm. What was that first podcast that where it kind of clicked, where you were like, oh shit, this has gained a lot, like that one. You know what I mean? Like that one thing.
Real quick. I'll be right back. I gotta go tinkle.
That's right. Sponsored tinkle time with Paul.
All right. Do I say anything or just?
No. You keep going because we don't edit this out. It's just he likes to let everybody know that he tinkles.
Yeah. So I did a few podcasts. So when I realized exactly what I want to do with my podcast, it was probably I can't remember exactly what episode, but it was early. It was like in the top 10 or 15. I've already done a bunch of them. And I was still kind of cursing and drinking, but I was still kind of hesitant about what I did. And then I had an episode with a guy named David Cruz, and I picked him out specifically because I watched him on KBN, their group page. I watched him talk a lot of shit to like Jen Jensen, where that weirdo's name is.
Yep,
Gene Jensen. Okay, I watched him just blow up on him on the Facebook group page, and I'm like, this guy does not give a fuck. And I'm like, why am I not talking to people like him? Why am I talking to And so I brought him on the show, and me and him just, and like I said, I was already kind of doing what I wanted, but this was the one where I really crossed that line. I was like, I brought him on the episode, and we every word that came out of our mouth was fuck, because he's a veteran, I'm a veteran, we're both combat veterans, so all we know is the dark. You know what I mean? So we're just out there just getting after it and just running our mouths, and then when it was over, I'm like, I don't know if I could post this. I'm like, I mean, this is bad. We were talking shit too about other people. So this is bad. And I'm like I'm posting it. And so I post it, and then people, no one said shit. No one said a goddamn thing. And then I'm just like, dude, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna talk to people who I find interesting. If they're in the sport, they got a chance to be on the show. And I'm never gonna put myself in a situation. The only other time I haven't. There's only been 3 or 4 episodes where I've had to actually do them over again. That was usually because I was shit-faced. And it was I'm not going to put an episode where I'm sitting there trying to listen to it and I can't understand what I'm saying. But other than that, that was the one where I'm like, that's how I'm going to do my show. I'm going to bring, because I took a chance on him because I knew he's had some success with fishing, but he wasn't a super successful guy. I'm and I had more fun in that episode, and I got more listeners because of that episode, because he might not have been a great angler, but he's very popular and very interactive with a lot of other people. So it helped me out tremendously. It helped me break that barrier of dude, if I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? There's no rules to this, so why wouldn't I post that shit? And so that was kind of the episode that really really set me off. Other than that, I've had people turn me down at first because like, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And they're like, I go to church on Sundays or whatever. I'm like, that's cool, man. You should go there and not come on my show. Cause but then again, and later on, they want to come on the show,
we've definitely, I reached out before Paul, I reached out to some folks, and there was definitely some folks who listened. I think it was specifically the Nate episode. And they were like, yeah, man, super funny to listen to. No fucking way I'm going to be on that show. Not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Cause me and Nate, I don't know if you listened to that episode, but me and Nate both killed
Jameson, right?
Dude, fucking Jameson. Nate texted me later that night or the next morning. He's like, dude, I fucking threw up last night. I had to I do all this in my basement. I have a finished basement with an outdoor entrance and everything, but I had to crawl up my fucking stairs.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, I'm doing internet things. This is what I do. Like, just fucking hammered. And so after his episode, when I talked to people, they were like, nope, we could hear you slip. We could see you guys going down, because I think we let loose pretty wild on that episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's something I don't do. I don't drink a lot of whiskey when I do these things. Like, I'll drink beer, I'll shotgun a beer. But, because I mean, like I said, like, I'm not trying to be like the most professional, but it's like, dude, if you can't understand what the host of the show is saying, the show is ruined. You know what I mean?
I learned from that one. I think I got.
Maybe I'll do a bloopers reel later on down the reel of like how bad this shit's gotten sometimes. But
you should get all your old footage of the ones that you had to re-record and just put them all in little 30-second clips. Run that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Look, Josh, I ain't picking on you about nothing you don't pick on yourself about. Right. But how you pronounce words.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? You own that shit. You try it. You fuck it up. And you're like, you know what? It's winner. We just gonna call this motherfucker Winnie. It's Winnie from here on out. It's Winnie. You did that with KBM.
Yeah.
And it was like, look, I'm gonna fuck this up. Y'all probably can't say it either, but it's Winnipatuka and whatever. He's like Winnie. But see, that's the whole thing that comes back to your whole podcast and who you are.
Yeah.
You embrace that shit.
Yeah.
And you put that out there and you embrace it. And so that is the realism.
You have to do that, because I don't listen to his show that much, but was it Big Jig?
Jigs and Jugs and Bugs.
Look, that guy.
Jugs and Bugs.
That guy has the voice of, like, he could be a club stripper guy that calls out those. That's him.
He used to, I think.
He could work at a strip club. I mean, like, the guy sounds like, here comes Stacy. To the dance floor.
Just to be clear, Josh is saying that he could be the DJ,
because those are boys. I've been on their podcast
stripper.
too.
No, the DJ, the one that calls the girls up.
Right, you're not saying that Bobby Roast Beef.
No, but he has like a good, like, when I heard him talk, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's he has a really good podcast voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bobby.
And so like he does really like, but there's no way I could ever attempt to be like him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can't pretend I'm nothing more than the guy who stutters, who sounds like an idiot, who can't say big words, who drinks too many beers, who curses too much. I don't have a very intellectual dictionary in my head. Like I use simple words, 4-letter words for the most part. All different colors, but that's it. I mean, so
I literally found Jugs and Bugs is what we call them here on this podcast. Matter of fact, if y'all ain't listened to their recent episode, Sean the Fisherman does his best impersonation of Alex during this one, because it sounds like he's got the Black Plague. But regardless, I found Jigs and Bigs because of Josh at Dark Waters. I had been listening to him and something popped up. And so I went to Jigs and Bigs, and no fucking lie, never. And I ended up doing a podcast with Jigs and Bigs about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I told them, I was like, I never in a damn million years thought I'd be on your podcast, Bobby. And then I'm sitting here now doing a podcast with fucking Josh from Dark Waters. And I ain't no damn, there ain't a million years that I think back in December or January, whenever I started listening to all this shit, I thought I'd be on your damn podcast or a podcast with you. I mean,
dude, I'm not that famous. I don't think I'm famous at all.
But you say that, then you got somebody that just gets into kayak fishing, and he types some shit in on his phone, and Dark Waters comes up, and you're like, God damn, this motherfucker has every top angler in kayak fishing on his podcast, and they really aren't talking about a ton of fishing. They're talking about life. They're talking about all this other shit. Like, it ain't just, it ain't a technical podcast.
No, it's not at all. I mean, I've had some pretty technical conversation with people, but for the most part,
because you're trying to prepare. Yeah, I get it.
But I mean, like the thing is, though, is like it's really like I think a lot of podcasts, a lot of people, they don't really like. I don't want to say they're not being themselves, but it's like one thing I've had to accept. Like, I'm not a great angler, so don't come up here and start using words that you don't understand, or start don't try to explain things or do shit like that. Like, just be seriously, just be yourself, because people. I think a lot of people get in trouble when they do podcasts. It's like people call them on their bullshit. I have not had anyone, no one has called me out on anything. Because there's nothing you can call me out on.
Yeah,
like, I mean, you call me a drunk. Oh, well, okay. Thank you. I'm a drunk. You got me.
But you can't keep saying, you keep doing the shit that you doing on the tournament scene. You can't keep saying I'm a shitty angler.
I know. It started biting me in the ass. Now I think that's a new call out. That's gonna be the only thing I'm gonna get called out for now. Now it's like this year I got good for some reason. I'm just like, fuck, I can't keep pretending like I'm not a good angler. I have to lose that niche, man. That was my niche for a while.
Instantly, you lose thousands of listeners.
I suck, so I could use that as my niche. And now it's gonna be like I'm gonna be like, well, I suck. He's like, dude, you just won a national championship, you fuck.
Look, motherfucker, I still suck. I know how to fish better than people that are catching more than fish than me at every tournament. Bring me on. I can be your sucky damn tournament person.
Yeah, but I got to find a new niche because the whole sucking thing it's just not working anymore.
That's a good problem to have, man. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But I think that's the reason why I've done really well with the podcast, because a lot of people can relate to me. Because when you come on my show, it's like they all know I'm in it with them. You know what I mean? Like I show up to these tournaments. I've been getting my ass kicked for years. Losing. I've had all the struggles, the strife. Just constantly wasting money and
wanting to not so open about it again.
Yeah, I wanted to quit. Like I wanted to I'm gonna get off the water. I'm gonna put my kayak on Craigslist.
Right.
I'm gonna break my goddamn camera, the microphone. I'm done with this shit.
But we get to see all of it, because wintertime, you were jacked. You could hear it. You were like, I'm gonna fucking dominate. This is gonna be great. And then you took some L's early, and you were like, well, yep, just fucking back to normal, just sucking it up again. But you could hear all of that. It's realistic. Again, when I listen, I feel like I'm sitting down, especially that small section in the beginning. All of it's good, but that small section when you've probably had too many and you're just giving that quick intro, dude, I love that one, because it's like you're just like, yeah, this is what's been going on. Everything fucking sucks, because we all get there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always going to be sunshines and unicorn farts.
No, not in this sport. No.
And so that lends into the tournament. So we did not plan. So folks that maybe aren't listening, when somebody wins a quote unquote big time tournament, all the podcasts in the kayak world have you on.
Right.
And so one of the big ones is Kayak Bass Nation, KBN, and Josh was on that shit last night. And this wasn't playing, like we'd had Josh coming on for a few weeks now, but he just so happened to win the EKA, the Elite Kayak, or EKS, what the hell, Elite Kayak Angling?
EKF, Elite Kayak Fishing.
Elite Kayak Fishing up in the Northeast. And for those that don't know, there are some, I hate the word hammers, but it's a bunch of damn hammers, badass fishermen, anglers, fishers. And matter of fact, speaking of fishers, I'm drinking a Fisher's Island lemonade today instead of Fisherman's. It ain't Fisherman. But anyway, so the story is
lemonade.
Look, we don't need to hear about all the details with the angling, because you covered that on KBN. I'm sure you'll cover on some other ones. But what we want to hear, because this is the real aspect of it, is the night before, the day of, your plan was to leave at 12 o'clock.
I was done.
Yeah, times. So lead us into this, because this is the real shit.
This wasn't my first time. This was my first time at this lake. I went there 2019 with KBF, which shows you like my progression. Because like when I first started doing tournaments, I never even caught a fish at most of them. The big one, the big national ones. I went to like Lake Anna one year at KBF, skunked. I went to Lake George, skunked. I went to this one, skunked. Just that year, just my first year, like trying to compete on these national tournaments, and just fucking sucked. I got better in 2020, the year of COVID. I think the year of COVID, as much as it sucked, because I had to stay home and fish my waters, I got a lot better. But I'm venturing off. But I had some experience, and like my experience with this lake, I hate it. And then we're going right back to it. Same time of the year, similar conditions. I'm not excited at all because it doesn't have a lot of things I'm really used to. Like only one part of it has like really good grass. And what I learned about that area is that the fish don't hang out in that grass because they go off into the deep waters and fuck on rocks or whatever they do out there. But
didn't you have to have, just like Susquehanna, which you'll go back to every year from here to end of earth, didn't you have to have some friends pry you and poke you to come?
Yeah, I wasn't going to go. I was going to go to – because I have a really good chance because I did 4th place at Cayuga. And so, like, I have some really good points. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I have a chance to really do good in this trail series. And I wasn't going to go. And then Stormy from Dakota Lithium, he taught me into it. He's like, dude, just go do it, man. You got this. That's exactly how it sounds. And so I did it. They put me in the campsite. I went pre-fishing on Thursday. It was just like I left it. The only thing different is I'm a little bit better at fishing, so I was able to find some, but it was still the same struggle. They're not hanging out in the flats like I want them to. Day 2, I come on Friday. I said, fuck the grass. And I go out there and I fish some offshore sites. I found some rocks. I found like some smallmouth, like some little, 14, 15 inches. I'm like, well, I probably won't skunk, so I'll stay. But in my mind, I was like, dude, like I'm not gonna do good. I'll stay till 12. If nothing happens by 12, I'm going home.
But time out. Let's talk about what happened the night before leading into the tournament.
Oh, I got drunk with Nate. Actually, no, Nate didn't really get drunk with me. Nate showed up later. And I was already drinking. I was time went on to. I drank some beers. I drank some. I went to the gas station. It was weird. I went to the gas station. Up here, the gas stations don't have like wine in them, and so I was going to go get some beers. So I got like a 12-pack. I got some beers, and as I was walking out, I saw this little like wine. I'm like, fuck it, I'll grab that too. So I grabbed that. I get to the site and I start drinking that. Nate shows up. Of course, he makes me shotgun a beer. Somebody, I'm not gonna say who because it's no one's business. Because I'm not really putting whatever. I found some edibles. Oh man! So I ate some edibles. Went to sleep. And here's like when I ate these edibles, it was at like 10:30.
That's early for you too.
Yeah,
but we eat that early.
Yeah, when you eat edibles though, you go to bed quicker. And so, but anyways, I woke up at like they woke me up at 3, and so I'm still high. I'm still drunk. And then I get to the launch, and I had really bad Mexican. Like they have a shitty Mexican restaurant up there, and so like for like the first 30 minutes, I'm trying not to shit my pants so I can't get to the bathroom. And so I didn't even get in the water until the first launch was like 5:30. I didn't get in the water till like 6 because I didn't want to shit my pants. And you can't like shit anywhere on this lake because it's all private property. And so I'm just like, whatever. I do my business. I get in the water. I still haven't come down completely. Like I'm still just like I'm in it's like you came out of a coma. It reminded me of like on Walking Dead when like the sheriff woke up and he's like, what the fuck's going on? Everything's fucked up. And I'm looking around. I get to the fishing site. I'm like, I cannot focus to save my life. I'm sitting there trying to, what do I want to do? And I'm throwing this. Like, why are you throwing that? It's stupid. It's so stupid. I'm just like doing this shit. It takes me like 2 hours to finally figure out, like, all right, you need to just stop and pretend like you're sober. And eventually I figured it out. But yeah, the night before, drunk, edibles, shitting my pants in the morning. I mean, just a whole bunch of things. And then it just was not a good day to start off. And then the fishing
That's how a champion starts. That's how
the fishing was very, very slow for me. I remember like I looked at my phone like the first 30 minutes into it. I'm like, damn, they're crushing it. And I'm by myself. I woke up, I was like, what the fuck?
And then I won.
Yeah, but it was I was sitting there like in my area, and like I'm watching the leaderboard, like, dude, everyone's crushing them. Or these people are just crushing it. I look around, I'm like, you are absolutely by yourself. There's a reason why no one's here fishing. But I stayed because that was my only plan, and I had like 3 or 4 spots in this area that was all very close. They're all like little 5-10 minute paddles from each other, but they all had something different. Like one area had like rocks and grass, one area had like deep rocks, one area had like really shallow grass, like that I like to fish, and then one area just had like some cool drops or humps and drops off. And I'm like, in all these areas, I found fish, just not anything special. So I had no idea that things were going to play out the way they did. Like 2 hours in, I caught that 22.5. I'm like, that's it. I should go home. It doesn't get any better than this. Like I'm peaking right now, and it felt like that way. Cause I didn't catch another fish for like an hour. Didn't catch my 3rd fish for an hour. And by the time I caught my 4th fish, I'm like, I only had like 2 hours left. And I went to this spot that I did not want to go to. It was in this cove. It was like a nice little residential type cove, like all these big ass houses. They're big, and like I just never have like really good luck in those areas because there's always a lot of jet skis and whatever, like people jumping in the water. But that day it's like overcast and there was like some shitty weather, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna go there, try it out, see what happens. And then literally like caught a 17-inch. I'm like, well, that helps a lot. And I looked at my score, like, dude, you got 69 inches. If you catch just one more 12-inch fish, like you can, that's all that's out here, 12-inch fish. You've already caught the 2 biggest fish in this lake right now with a 22.5 and a 17. Like, dude, you did good. You stayed past 12. You did it. You get your money's worth out of this tournament. So I'm like, dude, I get one small fish. I might even make money. I might get the money. So I'm out there just fucking around. It's about right at like the last 2 minutes before they shut down the leaderboard. I cast and I hook into a 19.5 largemouth. I'm like, fuck. It was so weird because I was still like my brain's just not working right. It's not working right. And not that when I caught that 17-inch fish and I'm sitting there like doing math, like okay, if I get a 12-inch fish, I'll put me at like 81 inches or something like that. That's good. I didn't ever think that I'd have like 7 more inches to consider. And so when I caught this fish, I'm happy. I'm like, dude, I caught a limit. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, 19.5, dude, like that changes things, right? I'm sort of thinking like that changes things. Like the leaderboard was 86 inches before I turned it off. And it took me forever like to figure out that I won the tournament. Like literally, like after I put the fish back in the water, it took me like 10, 15 minutes to realize that I either won or I had like a really good finish. And I didn't want to call or tell anyone, so I kept fishing because I'm like, dude, Derek Brundle's obviously going to beat me. If I caught a 19.5 in the last hour, Derek Brundle's going to catch a 26-inch bass. The only one.
You know what? That happened. Derek and Matt were fishing against me and another guy in the KBBB team tournament thing. And I'll be damn, in the last 30 minutes, I can't remember who, one of them caught a fish that bumped them over us. So yeah, I feel you, Bo.
I don't know why I felt that way because I should have realized that I was like my area was just special that day because I mean I looked at the bleeders board. When I say they were crushing them, they weren't like no one got above like 86 inches, and so that just tells you there's like a lot of dinks in that lake. Especially a smallmouth lake like that. There's a few big smallmouth, but we all know like it's not a great lake or whatever. Like it is what it is. Like there's going to be like a few big ones, but there's going to be a tremendous amount of small ones. And so that's what I should have figured. Like these people are out here chasing these smallmouth, and they all got great limits and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, you found a spot that was holding big ass largemouth. Like, and you're the only one out here.
Oh, shit.
You're the only one out here chasing largemouth right now. Like you might have been the person who found that. It's how in these tournaments, it's always that one person who finds that sets them away from the rest of the pack that day. It just happened to be what I did that day because I don't think anyone else was up in the north like I was. Like really looking for largemouth, and I wasn't like I had areas that I was looking for smallmouth as well, but I stayed in that northern area because I knew there was largemouth because of the grass and things like that. I'm like, this could be a largemouth haven, so I never wanted to leave too far from it, and somehow it paid off, dude. Like I did not leave that day thinking I was a great angler. I was thinking like, man, it's crazy how things just come together. You know what I mean? It's just like
I had a good time. So kids, what this tells you is get drunk, eat edibles, get up and go fish, and you will catch the big uns.
Or don't give up, I guess would be the cliche thing to say.
Oh, never give up. never give up.
And dude, like everyone was telling me, like everyone was trying to say that. I'm like, dude, No, I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up the water. I wanted to go home. I wanted to eat. I wanted to get some good sleep. But when you start catching fish, it's hard to leave.
Look, if the listeners want to hear a better recap of if you want to hear the tournament version of this shit, go to KBN. But Jashopra, as I'm going to call you, because of Josh and Oprah, Jashopra, we do have some questions that we ask everybody up in here that Alex is going to get to, and this shit's pretty important. This is going to make or break your career as a public figure.
Public figure. I've always wanted to be a public figure.
Well, now you are.
Yeah.
But these questions are going to make or break you and continue being a public figure or just being, a really cool dude.
All right.
Yeah, so this is our patent pended Bass and Brews rapid fire questions. So again, I want write what comes to your head, just like you're sitting with the psychiatrist.
All right.
Crocs or flip flops?
Crocs.
Fuck yeah. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
No.
Fuck you. Do you spend more on a rod or on a reel?
Reel. I got sponsors.
Because he gets fucking badass rods for his thick fishing, gives him fucking badass rods. He ain't got to pay for that shit. He gets it for a ring.
Listen, Nick, the informative fisherman, would like you to spend more on rods, so he doesn't have to give you so many free ones.
Right.
Yeah, and Josh, we don't need 6, right? You've got like 15 in your boat, so this 6 shit is just marketing.
Yeah.
In a non-tournament day, in a 3-hour session, do you want 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
1 7-pounder,
yes, sir.
That will change when I catch enough 7-pounders.
Yeah, right. Wacky or Texas?
Oh shit, Texas. It used to be wacky, but it's Texas now. I've mastered this year. I've mastered Texas rigging. So now I appreciate the wacky rig though. The wacky rig, the wacky. It kept me in the sport. It kept me, because you can always catch a fish on it. Yep. But once I mastered the Texas rig, things have changed.
But hold up, didn't you just win the biggest tournament of your career throwing a fucking Nico? I mean, not a Nico, I
can hear him. Hold on,
Paul.
Oh my gosh, we're 112 minutes in, and you can't hear me.
No, we've been able to hear you the whole fucking time.
What? Huh?
I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me now, Josh, or no?
Check.
Yeah, we can hear you.
me.
Can't hear you guys.
Oh shit!
Hold on.
He went back. Can you hear me
now? I
now?
can hear you guys.
Hey-o.
Wait. I think he said he can't hear us.
Oh,
I can hear you now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey-o.
All right. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All good.
All right.
All good.
All right.
All right.
What did I miss? Sorry.
I don't know. I forgot the fuck I was saying, but it was epic.
I was just saying that the Texas rig has been like the game changer this year.
But didn't you just win the biggest tournament ever of your life on a Ned rig?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, but I know. But like before that, though, the Texas rig was my game. So I mean, the dude on the Ned rig's obviously game changer too. But
I got this.
Slow jams or hype music?
Slow jams.
Whoa! I don't know if we got a damn slow jam yet.
We haven't gotten slow jams.
But what a slow jams mean is there's like 80s metal love songs count for slow jams, like Cinderella.
Honestly, there's not a ton of thought put into these. It could be whatever the fuck you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm hyped enough as it is. Dude. I gotta be careful when I listen to music. It doesn't take much to motivate me, man. So
you know what? Honestly, I'm the same way. I listen to a lot of like slower shit because I don't need the hype.
I don't listen to any music. I drive to the fucking ramp if it's 10 minutes or 2 hours in silence.
That's weird.
That's fucking super
weird. It is fucking weird. But,
hey, Josh, do you want to co-host? I'll let you take Paul's psycho ass who just sits there in silence. And,
because he needs this. He needs this.
All right, man. Are you eating largemouth? Yes or no?
No.
What?
Yes.
God damn it, you fucking Yankees.
And then
I'm from Florida.
But you should be eating largemouth from Florida. People in Florida eat largemouth like it's a fucking ribeye steak.
Not as often as you think. And those guys, and the reason why they're eating largemouth because they're broke and can't afford steaks. So
I'm from South Carolina. I could go kill a cow and eat fresh steaks, but I still ate largemouth.
That's fucking dumb, Paul.
Yeah, dumb.
You said I could kill a cow and eat steaks, but instead I ate a dick's pickle. Get out of here.
I mean, seriously, it survives on a golf course pond.
Largemouth bass is fucking delicious.
All right, man. And the most important question. Every fisherman likes to have a sandwich.
Angler or fisher?
What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Roast beef, tuna, and like a chicken salad type. It can't be chicken. It's got to be like a chicken salad. If that counts.
Chicken salad with grapes or no grapes?
I don't care. Okay. I like chicken salad because people can make it differently, and so I've had it all these different ways. And so I don't like a chicken sandwich, but I'll have a chicken salad sandwich. It's one of my favorites.
Interesting. I'm down with that shit, but I'm from this country. We make a salad out of anything,
right?
And none of it's ever a salad. All right, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been great having you on. We've both been able to fanboy here, listening to you talk about it, the whole podcast thing. Make sure everybody, again, if for some reason you don't listen to them, which I don't.
Wait. You got to give him an opportunity to thank the people that make fishing easier for him.
I was getting there. It was going to be the next statement. But,
well, if you shared the fucking itinerary with me,
I sent it to you. I faxed it to you,
but you don't
as requested. I faxed it to you. It's written in crayon, so your country bumpkin ass can read it.
So, now you guys know why I don't have a co-host, right?
All right, man. Do you have anybody you'd like to talk about that makes fishing a little bit easier for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just in case she listens, she's never going to listen, but I missed out on it yesterday, so remind me. Also got to thank the wife. She moves a lot around for me to be able to do the things I do. She'll call him for work if I got a guest big enough. She'll take leave. She does whatever it takes to make sure I can get to these fishing tournaments. Great. I'm not an asshole about it. I respect the boundaries, but still, she does a lot so I can just have these stupid hobbies that I have.
Does she need a sister husband? Because I could be that.
But sponsors, man. I only got 2, but they're very good to me. Sticks Fishing, you guys already said. Nick Informative Fisherman, Travis Man. Those guys, they picked me up. They believed in me, and hopefully I'm doing a good job for them. The rods have made fishing easier for me. If you notice, the moment I got with them, my fishing got better. And it's not because necessarily the rods, but it's because of the information they put out. It's like when you learn about these rods, you learn how to use them, and you learn the techniques, and then the lures that go with them. Their ideas taught me how to be a better angler. And you don't see that with a lot of fishing rod companies. They'll just tell you can use this for this. They don't just tell me. They taught me how to use these rods. And so, I'm forever grateful for what they've done for me. Dakota Lithium, Stormy, like those guys, they've opened a lot of doors for me. It's really weird. It's a really weird relationship. I probably wouldn't be on their team, but Stormy just happened to live like an hour away from me. He found that out. Next thing you know, we're fishing buddies. And so most people had to earn their way on the Dakota Lithium team. I kind of just got grabbed because of friendships and things like that. But those guys, they helped me out with these tournaments. I've got to stay and camp out with some of the best anglers in the world because of them. And obviously that helps me. When you're surrounded by really good people, usually you end up picking something from them. So those 2 companies, like, they're like my first real sponsors, and it's just the relationships I have with them is what makes it worth. It's not the product, it's not the money, it's the relationships that I have with them, and they're all good people, and they all want to enhance the experience for everyone on the water. So check them out, especially Sticks Fishing. You go to sticksfishing.com. They got a library of like videos and knowledge, and you'll learn something. Like those guys, they know how to teach fishing. So I don't know if I know you give them any more love, but those are my sponsors, and those are who makes fishing easier for me.
I bought the Dakota Lithium Power Box.
Oh, God.
Because of after you announced that y'all were having your partnership and you talked about that Power Box, I went and bought that sumbitch because I'm country and it had a flashlight on it.
Yes.
And I bought the power box because of you talking about the damn flashlight on it. And because I ain't got no damn good sense, and a good flashlight's hard to come by, just like a good bucket, I bought one.
Nice.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on. Make sure everybody goes and follows him. It's been awesome, dude. Thanks so much.
All right, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Late.
Don't go anywhere yet, Josh.